What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and on today's video, I'm going to be doing like I usually do, and I'm going to be talking to you about something that you already know a lot about, right? Now some of you may learn something, however, I would wager that that is unlikely, and in this video I'm going to be like appealing to your confirmation bias, talking about stuff you already know to make you feel good about knowing this stuff, and it has to do with sleep and running. Let's get into it. I did come across an article in Run Outside Online, and that article is titled, "Is Your Poor Sleep Schedule Trashing Your Runs? Here's how to fix that." So basically, in this video, I'm going to be telling you, or at least reminding you, how important good sleep is if you want to be a good runner. And also sleep is pretty important to like everything else in life too. So the article actually gives a pretty good analogy, and that analogy is something that I think that a lot of us would like if it were possible, and that is to take a pill to fix everything. So if there was a supplement out there that could accelerate tissue repair, boost human growth hormone, build muscle, build bone, enhance your metabolism, improve concentration, you would probably be down for it. I would probably fall for the marketing hype of that one. Well guys, guess what? And you know what? If I were a better video creator, I probably would have created some intrigue so you didn't immediately know what I was talking about. But because of that intro, you know that it's sleep. And yes, sleep does give us all these things. Pretty exciting, right? And look, even though we get all these benefits from sleep, a lot of us don't give sleep its due, right? We approach sleep with a laissez-faire attitude, sometimes thinking, it doesn't matter if I get too much sleep tonight because I'll catch up tomorrow night. Sometimes we do catch up, sometimes we don't. But if you really want to be the best runner that you can be, and look, I know this is really boiling it down to something very basic, but if you really want to be the best runner that you can be, you're going to need to like approach sleep like it's part of your training plan. In fact, you could write it into your training plan. So look, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Perhaps you're going out and you're running 2 miles a couple times a week, or you are running ultra marathons, on a daily basis. Some people do that. But whatever you're doing, when you go out for your run, breaking down your muscles, you're going to have to recharge, you're going to have to rebuild muscle, you're going to have to hydrate, right? We know this. We know we have to eat, we know we have to drink, but we also have to sleep. And that's because no matter how far we're running, we're breaking down muscle. And when we sleep, we release human growth hormone, or HGH. I think that's quicker throughout the course of the video to just refer to it by an acronym. And HGH is a hormone. We know it's a hormone because it's in the name. That's like saying PIN number, which occasionally bugs me. So I'll try and refrain from saying HGH hormone. Anyway, HGH is released from your pituitary gland. It goes into your bloodstream and it aids in repairing muscles, strengthening bones, and converting fat to fuel. Less sleep leads to lower HGH levels, which makes sense. And lower HGH levels means worse recovery. And look, less recovery means we may not be ready for the next day's workout. And the next day's workout is what we're trying to get ready for. This is especially important when you're getting ready for a race. So let's say you're tapering and you want to get as much sleep as possible in the weeks leading up to the race. I mean, ideally we want to get good sleep all the time, but especially leading up to the race because, we're training for something that's really important. So our body's going to repair itself and it's going to be the strongest it can be on race day, right? That's ideal. You don't get that if you don't sleep, or you don't sleep enough. And because we are not recovering, your athletic performance will take a hit if you don't get enough sleep. And this is backed up by a study. So in 2021, there was a study at Stanford and they looked at basketball players. And the study had the basketball players just sleep their normal amount. So they weren't told what to sleep for the first 4 weeks of the study, and they just tracked them and they tracked their sleep and they tracked what they did on the court. And then the next part of the study, the basketball players were told to sleep 10 hours a night every night for 5 to 7 weeks, right? That's a lot of sleep. I mean, I would stay in bed for 10 hours a night in the name of science, but it's very difficult to do that, with life and everything else going on around us. But anyway, you're not going to be surprised to know this because it was included in the article, so we know it's going to be favorable to sleep and performance, but their athletic performance increased substantially. In fact, they went from 16.2 seconds to 15.5 seconds in a 282-foot sprint. By the way, sidebar, what is a 282-foot sprint? Is that normal for basketball players? 282 feet just seems very arbitrary. If you know what that is, drop a comment and let me know. And it wasn't just their sprinting skills, although the sprinting skills are most appropriate for you and me as runners, but their shooting accuracy also improved. So with more sleep, not only could they move faster, but their ball handling skills improved. Pretty good, eh? So yes, while this study was on basketball players, it's pretty easy to make that jump. That extra sleep could benefit athletes in general, especially runners. Now, a lack of sleep also affects your perception of effort. So when you don't get enough sleep, things seem more difficult. In fact, there was another study in 2014, so we're going back a bit, but those study participants were made to stay awake for 24 hours. And after the 24 hours, it was found that they had a hard time doing simple tasks, like stepping over a bar on the ground. And my friends, If you've ever been out trail running, you know sometimes there's a lot of like stuff to step over. And I only know this because those things to step over have tripped me up more than a couple times. So I wonder, like perhaps when I'm out in a race and a root comes up and grabs me, perhaps it's actually because I didn't get enough sleep the night before or the nights leading up to the race. I don't know. But it's good to know that just a little extra sleep will stop me from tripping on the trail, or at least that's what I'm choosing to take away from this article. And of course there was another study, and luckily this one was in 2020, so not that long ago. But it found that sleep deprivation in healthy active men increased the perception of effort, increased perception of fatigue, lowers free level energy expenditure, lowers blood glucose. Wait, is that a good thing? Sounds like a good thing. And it reduced maximal exercise performance. So look, all these things are not good. I mean, look, running isn't always easy, right? I mean, a lot of the times it's a bit of a chore to go out and knock out these miles, especially if you're doing it at a time when you don't feel like going out because of your life schedule. So for me, I like to get up and I like to run before work and go out and take care of business, because at the end of the day, I'm just too tired and I can't be bothered. So I set my alarm and I wake up early. But am I inadvertently handicapping myself by waking up and not getting enough sleep and going out for my run because I'm making my run seem more difficult than it needs to be? Like my perception of effort is going to be higher and my performance is going to be lower. But hey, this just came to me now. On the other hand, am I setting myself up to have a better race day? Like if I train in a sleep deprived state, is that going to translate to better performance on race day when I have had enough sleep? I wonder. Okay, also not getting enough sleep also messes up your hormones. If you don't get enough sleep, your body's going to release more ghrelin. Ghrelin makes you hungry. Oh, but hold on. We already know that if you do get enough sleep, it does release enough hormone, or HGH. So sleep just messes us all up. It releases more of some hormones, and when you don't get enough sleep, it releases more of another hormone. So because we're talking about not getting enough sleep, let's go back to ghrelin. Ghrelin stimulates your appetite and makes you hungry. So if you're not getting enough sleep, maybe you'll just be like snacking more throughout the day. And if you're snacking, you're probably not snacking on carrot sticks. You know, it's probably going to be things that are, you know, not beneficial to you, like chocolate bars, crisps. Oh, and also sleep deprivation has also been linked to a decreased production of glycogen and carbohydrate. You know, this stuff is stored to be used as energy during strenuous activity. So basically what it comes down to is that less sleep throws off your body's ability to know when to fuel and what to fuel with. You know, it's just not a good thing. Oh, and also limited sleep can also increase your body's production of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So if you didn't already have enough stress in your life, just get a little less sleep and your body will hook you right up with a little extra hit of cortisol. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you even more things that you have already heard 100 times, but maybe it's going to take this time to actually, you know, make it hit home and make you remember. But we're going to be talking about ways that you can actually sleep better, right? Little tips. And the first is to keep a consistent bedtime and wake up time every day, even on the weekend. Look, and I know this isn't always easy. Like we've got life, we have to go to work. Sometimes if you're setting the alarm to go to work every day of the week, when it gets to the weekend, you just want to catch up. I totally get it. But look, do what you can do, right? That's all I can say. You know, we're trying to look for incremental gains, just little improvements where we can take them. But ideally, you want to shoot for going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And ultimately, that's just because it reinforces the body's sleep-wake cycle. So when it comes time to sleep, it makes it easier to do so. Do what you can do, right? That's all I can say. You know, we're trying to look for incremental gains, just little improvements where we can take them. But ideally, you want to shoot for going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And ultimately, that's just because it reinforces the body's sleep-wake cycle. So when it comes time to sleep, it makes it easier to do so. Number 2, turn off your electronics a couple hours before going to bed. Now, I think this is an ideal world. I think maybe in the world that we live in, that might be more difficult. But if you can, turning off those electronics, so your phone, your computer, a couple hours before you go to bed, is going to be pretty beneficial. I think we all know this to be true. I mean, before you go to bed is a good time to maybe read, maybe hang out with your partner, play with your kids. Those emails and texts, comments on YouTube can definitely wait until the next morning, when consequently you have woken up early to go for a run and you're rushed and you're feeling like crap because you didn't get enough sleep. Anyway, moving on. The third way to get better sleep is to avoid exercise 3 hours before you go to bed. For me, that's no problem because I don't like exercising in the evening before I go to bed. But 3 hours seems like a very long time. So if you are an evening runner, I want to hear from you. Like, do you exercise within 3 hours of going to bed? If you do, does it make sleep a bit of a challenge? Put a comment and let me know. Look, I've done a few night races in my life and I'm just miserable on those days because it seems like I can never sleep after I've run a race. Like I'm so excited, pumped from the race that I find sleeping very challenging. So I generally won't do any night races. But a lot of people like to run at night, so I wonder. You know, maybe not. I guess maybe you could go for a run and then just do other stuff for several hours before you go to bed. I don't know how it works and I'm really not interested in finding out. The fourth tip to better sleep is to avoid, you know, heavy meals, caffeine before going to bed. Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, it's never really comfortable to just lay down and have a full tummy. Again, that 3-hour window it seems like a very long time. I don't think I ever wait 3 hours after having dinner to go to bed. That does seem like a long time. And obviously the caffeine. I mean, caffeine is a stimulant. It's going to keep you up. And perhaps if you have a glass of wine before going to bed, yes, it can make you feel sleepy, but it actually disrupts your sleep. So not ideal to do all the time. Number 5. This is a good one that I bet you haven't heard, but you've got to keep your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. Hey, I've got a good question for you. How cool is your house when you go to sleep? So now I live in Florida, so generally, at least in the summertime, I think my house is probably a little warmer than other people's houses in other areas of the world. So when I go to bed, I set my thermostat at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's just under 24 degrees Celsius. And I know a lot of you out there are thinking, Matt, that is just crazy warm. But it's funny because with the AC blowing at that temperature, like I'm underneath my covers, I'm chilly. If I don't have my covers, I'll never sleep because it's so cold. But I know that it is different, like the air conditioning temperature is different from the outside temperature, because if I go and run in 75 degrees, it's just miserable and it feels way too hot. But yeah, what temperature do you ideally like to sleep in? Drop a comment and let me know. Oh, and guys, I know I have waited so long to say this and I've been trying to put this into more videos, but if you have been enjoying this video, I would love it if you gave this video like a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It just, helps. Anyway, this next one is actually something that I bet you didn't know. But the next way to improve your sleep is to declutter your bedroom. And you might be thinking, what does it matter? If I have a dark room, what does it matter if I have clutter all around me? I can't see it, it's dark. Well, a 2015 study suggested that when people sleep in an area that is full of clutter, they are more likely to have a sleep disorder. So declutter your room, that easy. And the 7th way to get better sleep is to actually fuel for your sleep. Like we fuel for our runs, time to fuel for our sleep. And this is something that I haven't done because the article suggests drinking tart cherry juice, and I've heard of tart cherry juice for boosting performance, but it actually boosts sleep too because tart cherry juice can boost levels of melatonin. And the article also suggests having a cup of kava tea to kind of mellow you out before bed. Guys, what do you think? Do you do any of these things to help you sleep? Have you picked up anything that you may try? Drop a comment and let me know. Oh, and of course, if you have made it till this point, this is going to be a very easy one today. I want you to drop the bed emoji in the comments, just so I know that you've made it all the way to this point in the video. And with that, it's Matt B. This has been a video on sleep and how it will make you a better runner if you can get enough of it. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.